Hello everyone, Alex the Railroader here. I know I haven't done any updates on my layout in a long time, and that's because I've been experiencing a lot of problems with N scale, which I'll explain later. First, I'm going to show you a new scale I'm getting into. I have here some ON30 models. I just bought them. They are Bachmann Spectrum, labeled as the Master Railroad series. I decided to go big, and to put this in perspective, I'll put a screwdriver right here. To put this into perspective, I went big because of the issues I've been having with N scale, with the steam locomotives being too light in order to pull any major weight, especially around the tight curves of my former layout. And ON30 scale is much larger, and it holds more weight, and it's just more powerful and more durable overall. So I have here a Bachmann 042 saddle tank style locomotive. It's labeled Midwest Quarry. It's a really nice little locomotive that I really like. I haven't tested it yet. I just got it off of eBay. And then same thing over here, I have a Wonderland Express passenger car, also ON30 scale. And then finally, I have a Durango and Silverton caboose. As you can see, it's got two trucks on the bottom. I really like this very neat little caboose. For those of you who don't know what ON30 is, which I'm sure most of you probably do, and probably know more about it than I do, it is basically O scale that is narrow gauge. So it's O scale, but it runs on HO scale track. This is just a Bachmann easy track. I actually don't have any more pieces than this one. This is just a little piece I left behind. And then I'll show you what else I got. So forgive the messiness of my living room. That's my old layout right here, N scale. As you can see, it's all built up. It's pretty much what most people would consider nearly complete, but it doesn't work. So to give a brief explanation of why, I like to run steam locomotives. These are examples of Atlas N-scale steam locomotives, and a little penny put next to them for size. Unfortunately, they are so lightweight that when going around this S-curve here, they often just stop and spin their wheels around that curve. And on top of that, they're not very good at electrical pickup, and they have a lot of issues with hauling weight, especially their own weight. So these locomotives, first of all, this one is brand spanking new, right out of the box, and it doesn't really work. Its electrical pickup is so poor that it can't go around the track. And believe me, I have scrubbed and scrubbed these rails until they're polished clean, and it just doesn't pick up enough electricity. But if I run a diesel like this one here, it goes around the layout pretty well. Problem is, I don't really like diesel. Diesel is not what I want to model. Everything on this layout was built for steam locomotive trains. I even have one parked here at the station. Again, to me, this layout is completely useless. If I can't run my steam trains, why do I have a steam layout that's just sitting here gathering dust? I literally have no use for it, so I'm going to be giving it to a friend. Now, I've purchased some HO scale track. This is Kato or Kato Unitrack HO scale. I really like it compared to the Bachmann Easy Track. This one looks very realistic in comparison, though that doesn't matter because this is only a test track. So I can test out the O scale, the ON30 trains, and if I like it, I'm going to replace that layout with an ON30 layout built on this board here. This is a 3x6 foot layout, but I'm going to replace it with a 4 foot by 8 foot layout. So it'll be A little bit bigger than this one. And it will be ON30 scale. But again, that is all based off of this test run. Alright, as you can see, I got the whole train set up on the track. I use this really handy re-railer, so you lay this on the track with the narrow end actually between the rails and the wide end as the starting point. As you can see, it's got these slots where it fits over the rail, and you just literally set the car on top of the wide end and slide it down, and these beveled guides here just perfectly line it up onto the rails. I mean, that was the easiest railing I've ever done for a train. So now's the moment of truth. Let's test to see how well this runs. By the way, this Kato track is not exactly brand new. It is used, and it might be a bit dirty, so I have to take that into account while watching this run. But I have it all set up to my old transformer. As you can see, I've disconnected the N scale layout and reconnected this one. So again, this is a test. This is not going to be perfect looking, but let's go ahead and run it. And oh, there we go. We got movement. It's going backwards. Let me run it forwards. That's interesting. I'm already at 45, and it's going pretty slow, but I should expect that actually, because this is a much larger scale, consumes more electricity. I might need to get an O scale transformer for this, but that will come later. So far, it looks nice. And it's picking up speed now, even though I haven't adjusted the controller. So that could be just some running in. The locomotive is brand new, so it's possible that that it hasn't been properly run in yet. Might need some work on that. It is having some wheel slippage around that curve. Then again, it is a very tiny locomotive. I'm sitting on the floor here to get a better view. The headlamp is lighting up. It's an incandescent headlamp. Probably hard to see because of the glare. But, yeah, and it looks like the inside of the passenger car has a light, which I did not expect. I've never had a train set that had electric lights in the car. I am running it at a very low voltage right now, so I don't expect this to be going very fast. But it looks like it's running nicely. Again, there is some wheel slippage, but I might just need to get a bigger locomotive in the future. As for this one, this would work perfectly as like a little mining locomotive or something else. I think I really like this. I'm going to watch it for a little bit and then I'll come back. Well, it's been running for a while, and maybe about 10 minutes, and I'm really satisfied with its performance. Granted, this particular train configuration might be a bit too heavy for this particular locomotive. I do see a lot of wheel slip. Not significant, I would say. But it is constantly slipping. So I think that in the future, what I might do, see, I am going to keep this. I decided I like this. I think there's potential in it, and if I get bigger locomotives, it'll hold more weight. With this one, what I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to buy some lead weights to put inside the cab of the locomotive, like hide it in there so it's not visible, to weigh down the locomotive a bit. Also, it's got an option to put a wood load or a coal load in the back of the porter. Anyway, the coal load, for some reason, is different than the wood load in the sense that it is made out of die cast. So the die cast is significantly heavier than the plastic wood. So I'm going to put that in there too. So basically, if I weigh down the locomotive a little bit, there will be less wheel slip. And that's what I plan to do for the time being. In the future, when I have more money and I'm going to start building the layout, what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy cars that are less heavy for this little porter to pull around. And that's kind of my plan. So anyway, hopefully in the future I can acquire a Bachmann ON30 244 style Forney locomotive. I think it's 244. It could just be 044. But anyway, I'd like to acquire the Forney locomotive that they have. It's not in production anymore, I don't think. Otherwise, it'd be available on their website. But yeah, that's kind of my hope for the future. I have a lot of faith in this scale because it's big, it's heavy. I haven't seen any electrical issues whatsoever. It is picking up electricity fairly evenly around this dirty track, which is significantly better than my N-scale layout. And I think this is going to be the future of my model railroading. As well as the other thing I like about this scale is I can actually work on it. You know, if I need to repair something or whatever, I can actually do it because the scale is big enough that I can, get a screwdriver in there. I can work with it. The N scale is just so tiny. I mean, look at the size of my thumb in comparison to that caboose. I mean, that is ridiculously small. It's hard for me to work on those kinds of trains. And the O scale is just so much bigger. So anyway, expect some videos from me in the future where I will be replacing this layout with a brand new 4-foot by 8-foot ON30 scale layout. I'm thinking something along the lines of a Colorado or Utah type mining town turned tourist destination for sightseers. And that's kind of the idea. So I think next month a friend of mine will have the time to construct me some new bench work. And then from there, I'll take over and then start doing the landscaping and everything. So I hope you enjoyed this update. And yeah, I'll see you later. Also, there's some things I forgot to mention. So the track I'm using is called Kato HV5. It is a type of easy track that you snap together, and it's technically considered an inner circle, which means like if you were to do a double track in a big loop, this would be the inner circle, and the HM1 would be the outer circle. So this is the HV5. What do I think of the track? Well, frankly, I have to admit, this track is worse quality than Bachmann Easy Track. This Unitrack is extremely loose. The connections are all very, very loose. There's some bowing going on in the track segments. That might be from slight aging, although I was told this was bought brand new in packaging earlier this year. So I don't know if they lied or if something happened. I don't know. The other thing about the track that I don't like is that well, I guess that's it. I mean, it's just that it's very, very loose. Thankfully, though, like I said, this is just a test track. So another little thing that I wanted to add was, since I finished the last segment where I was showing the train, I actually replaced the lightweight plastic wood load with the heavyweight coal load. You can't see it, and the contrast is really difficult to see anyway because it's coal in a black locomotive, so I can't show you very well. But I can tell you that the wheel slippage has definitely improved. As a matter of fact, I don't even see any wheel slippage. That coal load is probably about 30 to 40 grams in weight. That's pretty significant. This is only like 3 grams. So that's a significant difference. I think it's really helping the locomotive to pull. Also, the last thing I wanted to mention is you've probably noticed the train is going slower. That's because I have slowed the speed down. I wanted to see what it would look like while it what we call crawls. So I'm going to slow it down even more. So a test of a good quality engine is how slow it can move. Now, this isn't the slowest it can go, but it certainly is a very smooth crawl. If you heard that grinding sound, that's just my camera case that's dragging on the ground. But the engine, I'm sorry, I'm crawling on the floor. The engine is really crawling around the curves, which is amazing. Other model railroaders might not be that amazed by that, but I am an N-scale model railroader, and I gotta say, doing a crawl on a steam locomotive in N-scale is really difficult to do unless you have a good quality motor and a really good electrical pickup. So this just shows the quality of this locomotive. There's a little bit of wheel slippage around that curve, but again, if I get some lead weights and put it in the cab and paint it black so it matches the cab, I think I can weigh down the locomotive a bit more and just completely eliminate that wheel slippage. But like I said, it has improved since I put that heavier coal load in. Well, anyway, that's gonna do that. Or that's gonna do it. Thanks for joining me, you guys.